What's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today on the show we have one of our sponsors. We have Borjon Auto Center in the house, and we have Jennifer Borjon Wescom and Haylee Wescom as well. Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you guys being a sponsor and being a part of our show and what we're doing, so we super appreciate that as well.
Yeah, of course.
So finally, get you guys in.
Yes.
So Jennifer, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about your history around here.
Yeah. My parents moved here in 1991. My mom and dad, Mark and Sheila, bought Borjon Auto Center back in the day. It was Paso Robles GMC truck was our original name, still our corporate name. And they moved us, my sister and I, from Grover City to Paso.
Oh, nice.
I was a freshman in high school. Yeah,
wow.
It's a hard move.
Right? Up and over the hill back in the day when, nobody wants to come to the North County. That's where the rednecks
right,
live.
a bunch of hicks, right? For sure, yes. But it all worked out. I mean, it worked out great. So they were originally across the street on 46, and then they bought the store where they are now in 1995. And so my dad moved everything from across the street to the new Borjon Auto Center.
Awesome.
Yeah, we became Borjon Auto Center about 10 years ago. We went from Golden Hills Auto Center to Borjon. We bought out his partners and became family-owned, family-ran.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of family, who'd you bring with you?
About my daughter, my oldest daughter, Haylee.
Awesome.
Yes.
And what does she do with Borjon?
She's a salesperson, and she also is our social media manager.
So she's the one that brings everything up to date for all us old people.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. She's
so
magic.
you're the one that's doing the posts and the social media content and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've got 7 different social media platforms from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the way to Snapchat. We've got Pinterest, X, or Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, so we're on everything.
What about, what's that one called? Twitch? Are you on Twitch?
No, I think that's, I'm not super familiar with that. I think that's only video games.
Oh.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Wow, so 7 platforms. That's pretty impressive.
Way over my head.
So I run all 7, and we do posts 5 days a week.
And that's a position by itself, just staying in front of people on social media. Because, literally, you put something on there and 2 minutes later it's gone.
Right.
You know, and it's past that. So you have to stay kind of present on everything with content, with pictures, with information, just to stay in front of people, huh?
Yeah, you got to make sure your captions are what's trending, you're using the right sound, you're using the right audio. Everything is a science within itself. So did you have to go to school for that, or is that just self-taught? Is that just your generation? Like good old YouTube.
Really? And with algorithms and all that stuff?
Yeah, the algorithms, TikTok's been really educational with it. I think because there's so many people doing it now, so many influencers and everything like that. And other dealerships are really good inspiration to see. There's a lot of people in the Midwest, dealerships in the Midwest that I've been showing the people at our dealership what they're doing. And they've got really good stuff, good hashtags to make sure that they stay on trend, good audios, their captions are right. And their content is educational. It's funny sometimes. There's always a face in the video. So that's what we're really working on is, yes, there's a car and we're talking about the education of our units that we've got on our lot or coming in, but there's a face in every video. You see a salesperson, or you see somebody in service, or you see somebody in parts, or a manager, or our owner, my grandpa, and you put a face to the name of the dealership. And so you walk in and you see me, or you see another salesperson, you're like, hey, I recognize that face, I want to buy a car from you, or whatever it is.
And I think that's what we try to do here, is because that's exactly what it is. Print, doesn't tell the story. Mm-hmm. Radio doesn't show the face. So you kind of merge all those together with, like you said, face, audio, visual. Everything's right there. So we have a video of you that you just posted on your social media.
Yes.
So we're going to play that, and we're going to get a little bit more in depth of what you do with Borjon Auto Center.
I love it.
So let's play that.
Okay.
Here's everything you need to know about this 2023 GMC Canyon AT4X in under 60 seconds. This 2.7-liter high-output turbo engine puts out 310 horsepower and 430 foot-pounds of torque. With the 3-inch factory lift, you've got 10.7 inches of ground clearance, 17-inch wheels. You've got your tow hitch ready to go with a towing capacity of 5,500 pounds. You've got an 11.3-inch infotainment screen with a special off-road performance display, 10 camera views, and 2 underbody camera views. This model comes with heated and cooling seats. You've got wireless charging and front and rear differential lockers. This gorgeous 2023 GMC Canyon AT4X can be in your driveway today. All you have to do is call Haylee Wescom at Borjon Auto Center.
It's awesome. Thank you. And really, that's what, in my opinion, I think that's what people like. They like to see, like when you said, you walk in, they see Haylee. They see that person they saw in the video and the education that they got from the video, and it just makes it more personal.
Yes.
So, and that, I mean, that world is just quickly here.
Way over my head.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get into the AI stuff with your videos or anything?
I've tried it a little bit. The AI imaging I'm not quite there yet. But like AI captions, stuff like that, the AI voiceovers, I've used quite a few times. And it's worked, it's beneficial. You get less views using AI, you get less interactions, less retention in your videos because it's not real. And I do think that's part of it. People like real. People like real face and real
which
voice.
platform do you think you get the most engagement with?
TikTok's huge. We're starting to get a little bit bigger on YouTube, which is nice. But I would say TikTok and Facebook are my two biggest, where I see the most views or interactions with people. Yeah.
And Jennifer, over the years, I mean, since 1995, you said, right?
91 is when we opened, yeah.
And to now, you know, I mean, obviously the path to reach those customers have changed, you know, almost, I mean, all the time, it really changes all the time.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the changes of media and marketing and what do you do to stay on top of that other than Haylee, you know, doing the social media stuff, but how do you do that?
I think that's the benefit of having three generations is you've got my dad who still uses a pencil. You know what I mean? Like he can text and email, but those aren't his jam. He'd prefer a paper and a pencil, literally. And then you've got me stuck in the middle of, I like the old school ways, but I know what my future is. And so I have dabbled a little bit in social media. I'm just not the expert at it. So three generations is him teaching me the value of a handshake, him teaching me that your word is your word and all of those things. And then her teaching me, Mom, hold on, because the future is changing, and it's not. Yes, we still use pencils, but it's not. That's not what our customers necessarily want to see. So I have the best of both worlds.
And not only do you guys sell a lot of vehicles, you guys have a big service department as well.
We do, yes.
Tell me about that.
Our service department is by far my favorite department. I've worked in there several times, and I've got guys in my shop that I've been with this since day one. I've got an old school diesel mechanic. His name is Frank. That I thought we were related for the first 10 years of my life. So yeah, he's a huge asset. Everybody in my service department is a huge asset. They come in every morning, clock in, clock out, and they're just a very well-oiled machine. They know what they know, and they just do their job and go home.
And with the changes of, say, from the 90s to now, I mean, obviously the engines, the computers, the technology in the vehicles, I mean, it's night and day, you know, from being able to, you know, garage mechanics out your driveway to going, and I don't know, how do you even do this?
No, there's definitely old dogs, new tricks, right? So that's it's an issue that we have, I'm sure like everybody does in every department. I talk amazingly about Frank. He's an amazing diesel technician. At the end of the day, you give him a computer issue and he's like, I'm out. Like I'll rebuild a motor all day long, but when it comes to chasing wires or trying to figure out something that's techie, he just won't do it. So you have to have, no different than the three generations up front, you have to have generations of technicians in the back that are able to do every step. Where you've got the old school guys who can rebuild that motor in just a flash, and then you've got the new school guys that can try to figure out why, you know, the Super Cruise isn't engaging. Those are the different mentalities that you have, and you have to have it with these times. Because I still service the 1985 Oldsmobile compared to the 2024 Hummer. And how do I service those three generations, customers and vehicles?
And you guys kind of play more in the SUV truck arena of dealerships, right?
Yeah, I am the largest diesel dealership in my area. I sell the most diesels and I service the most diesels.
How do you think Borjon has stayed relevant in our market, in our area, compared to, you know, over the course of the years? I mean, you see, you know, big dealerships coming in, some going, but how do you think that Borjon has stayed relevant and persistent?
Yeah, I think it's my dad instilling in all of us girls that without our community, we're nothing, right? So being a family in a family-oriented community is a huge piece to our puzzle. That without that, we're nothing. We're one of the last. I am the last family-owned, family-run store in my area, and that's for a reason. That's because I'm selling to generations now. I sold to the second gen. She's selling to the third gen, and that's that. I take pride in that because it's from my dad. My dad's the one that started. Has instilled that in us girls. Why we are here.
And you guys are very invested in your community.
Yes.
I mean, you guys, I see Borjon on everything.
Yes.
You know, and I think that plays a huge part. You know, I think we still live in that community of, you know, face, you know, like you said, handshake and, you know, being a part of the community. And so, like I said, with Borjon, you know, sponsoring everything for the most part. I mean, I see Borjon, you know, signia on everything in our community. How do you think that's played a role?
I think it's huge. I think first of all, my parents are both of them are very old school and have big hearts, and so it between it's buying animals at the fair, or it's supporting a little league team, or Borjon Auto Center just help put in some beach volleyball courts for Paso Robles High School. We don't do everything, but we try to do what we can.
The Paso PD bikes.
Yeah, we donated some Hummer bikes to Paso PD, which was huge for both of us. We were happy to see them love those bikes so much.
What are they?
The Hummer bikes. So they're all EV, all-wheel drive bicycles that have the batteries on them, and we donated 4 of them to Paso Robles PD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
they use them a lot at nighttime.
A lot at night, riverbed. They use them a lot
yes,
for
riverbed
during
cleanup.
fair time, like patrol during fair time.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, quicker. They're really fast bikes. The head of their bike patrol force, we did an interview with him a couple of months ago when we dropped off the last 2 bikes. And he loves them. He's figured out how to make their charge last as long as possible. They can last up to 12 hours. They've got a 4-person bike force team. He's
Really?
It's all over our social media.
It's pretty cool.
Huh. And you guys are a Hummer dealer, right?
Yes, we are a Hummer dealer.
So do you guys sell these things?
We do sell them, yeah. We've purchased 20 bikes and had them for sale at our dealership, and out of those 20, we donated 4 back to Paso PD.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
They are. They're really cool. They're all-wheel drive. So for me, I live very rural and on a dirt road, and so both tires are moving at the same time versus just your front one pulling you or your back one pushing you. Both of them are moving at the same time, so it's less, sweat for a girl like me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of customers come in and buy them. They'll buy a truck and be like, "Oh, what's the bike?" And then explain the bike, and they end up taking them home, and they are hunters. I live out by King City, and so it's really hilly, a lot of oak trees, stuff like that. And so they'll go hunt. They'll hunt their pig, and you don't want to bring something loud to go hunt, and then you don't want to leave your pig there to go get your loud thing to grab your pig and come back. So they bring this quiet all-wheel drive bike. You can go anywhere in it, climb a hill, go down a hill, whatever it is, put a pig on the back of it. I've had people that, older couples that come in and buy a Buick when we were a Buick dealer. They come buy their Buick Enclave, super nice car, and they'd want to go to the beach, whatever it is, and they could ride these all-wheel drive bikes on the sand comfortably, and it's something for everybody. We've got young kids come in and enjoy them, older people come in and enjoy them.
Yeah.
Exercisers or not, you can choose whether or not you want to pedal.
Right. That's the
Wow.
benefit of it.
Oh,
You get tired, you
interesting.
just flip it over, and it's like a motorcycle.
Huh.
If you feel like you want to work
Fun.
out, then you pedal.
Well, no, I mean, obviously you guys are into the vehicles and selling vehicles, but you guys also have a lot of recreational, things outside of the dealership. Tell me about that.
Like as a family, what
Yeah,
we do?
yeah. I mean, you guys have the race team. I mean, you guys have, I think, one of the daughters, maybe you.
Yeah,
You
Haylee.
used to race junior drags?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Borjon Racing started when Haylee was 9, is when my dad got back into it. He did it whenever I was young, like in the early 70s.
Your dad raced?
He raced, yes.
Okay.
And then he kind of went dark there for a while, started doing the horse thing and doing the rodeo stuff, and then went back into racing. Haylee was 9, and he bought her a junior dragster for her birthday. Of course, all of us were shocked, because he does it by himself. So she went to a race, killed at her first race, and we were addicted. And she did it until she was a freshman in high school, and then she decided, we made her choose either racing or sports, and she chose sports for Paso High.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot to do both.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super fun. And so now we've got a great race team.
Yeah.
And they're killing it this year. They won March meets last year.
2 years in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years in a row. And it's great. And it's something that we all show up to. You know, even though I'm not the one driving anymore, it's still, our racer is wonderful, Haylee. And she's like family.
Yeah.
We've got a great team.
I saw a post of it like a nostalgic car. What is that one?
Yeah, so he's got multiple cars right now. He runs an altered fuel car.
Yeah.
I don't know the other two dragsters that he's running, but it's always something with my dad. So, you know, you don't really know until it's like something's at the paint shop, has to get picked up. You're like, what could possibly be at the paint shop?
Yeah.
And it's all, you know, the new car arrives, and next thing you know, he's in Famosa Racing.
And he's when we talk about old school,
Yeah.
I mean, your dad is definitely old school.
He is.
I think I remember the first time I met him, I was like, it wasn't like a warm welcome.
Yeah.
You know, it was.
Sorry.
It was no, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, yeah.
It was like, I was like, I don't even know what I said.
Yeah.
You know, I went in with another person with the radio, and I met him. You know, and I was just like, man, and he was just, but I'm used to that. You know, growing up, my dad was like that. Everybody I know, you know, all the old timers around here are like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just when you say old school, you know, I know exactly what old school means.
Yeah, I say old school positively.
Sure.
It is an asset, us having, all of us girls having him and him sticking to his ways. Sometimes it drives us crazy, but at the end of the day, for the most part, he's right. You know, we have to edit him sometimes, but the old school still benefits us.
But that's what you get.
Yeah.
It's either you like them or you don't.
Right,
And
yeah.
there's no in between.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no BS. Yeah.
So tell me let's talk about COVID that time. I mean, that was a crazy time for you guys, huh?
It was, yeah. Yeah, so we got down to 5 new cars, which was a little scary. The benefit, again, of having 3 generations in the business is I wanted to stress out and thrash around a little bit and run out and buy a bunch of used cars or something to make my lot look full. Luckily, Mark and I share a wall, and so I multiple times went back there saying, what the heck are we going to do? Like, what do we do now? And he would just tell me, like, don't stress. This is just a wave, and it's going to go away. And you got to think about it. If he started the industry in the 70s, you know, when I talk about these rates, about, oh my gosh, these rates are amazing, or the rates are awful, what are we going to do? And he's like, hey, this happened, they go back down, don't stress. So for me, it's a huge asset. For Haylee started in the industry during COVID, so she only knows COVID ways. She only knows, you know, there's specific kind of salespeople that started in COVID, and they only know a customer begging for a vehicle. And so we have to get back to teaching this, you know, generation of a salesperson of how to sell cars, and to get back to Mark's way of selling cars, because that way works all the time versus during COVID, whenever you had 5 customers were fighting over them.
Yeah.
And what do you do with your sales staff? Do you have like some sort of training? Do you get, you know, consistent training? Obviously, the vehicles change all the time.
Yeah, thankfully GM puts our sales team through year-long training, so it happens every quarter where they have to be 100% trained in all of our vehicles that we sell. So when it comes to horsepower or new features, these guys are going to be the smartest in the dealership, because they're required to do their training through General Motors. As far as, you know, Borjon training, we have management for that. So I'm definitely involved in that process of reminding them how we treat our customers, or how we handle certain situations. Being family-owned, family-ran, it's only our last name, right? So I don't have to go to a corporate board meeting to find out how to handle something. We handle it right away.
We, well, a few months back, we went on a test drive with Colton with the Hummer.
Yep.
The electric, I mean, this vehicle was amazing.
Yeah.
And his knowledge was not only impressive, it was mind-blowing, because not only did we talk about the Hummer, we went over to the Spider. Is it the Spider or the Black Widow?
The
Black Widow. And I mean, he went around the vehicle on both of them and told us exactly. I mean, he told us stuff that we didn't even ask, of course.
Yeah.
But it was just, it made me want to buy something, because it wasn't like, oh, well, this is the windshield wipers, this is the door.
Right.
I mean, really, he really dug in. And so I think the knowledge with the sales staff, you know, like him, helps tremendously
Yes.
with the sales of the vehicles.
Yeah, and you'll find that with each of my sales team. Each person in my sales team is all going to be very knowledgeable on every unit on my lot.
Yeah, and we all have different niches. Colton's really big on, he likes our specialty vehicles, our Tuscany trucks, our Black Widows, stuff like that, and he's really into our 3-liter diesels. We've got some of our other sales guys that are really, really into our heavy duties. They can sell a heavy duty truck to somebody who hates a diesel. And they are really good at what they do. I am the Yukon person because I'm a mom. I grew up in a Yukon my whole life. And I sell a lot of heavy duties too because my dad's a contractor. We are ranching, farming family, and so vehicles that you personally like is what you're really good at selling.
Yes.
What you fall in love with. I mean, it's like anything else. Here's my favorite color is pink, and let me tell you what, your favorite color should be pink too. You know? And so when you've got that much variety in your salespeople and your employees, and you've got a young kid who loves diesels and loves loud trucks and loves, you know, big, cool, lifted things, Colton's your guy. And you've got a customer that comes in like that, you've got somebody for you. You've got a mom who's got 4 kids and she needs the room and she needs good gas mileage. I can find the vehicle for you. You've got a contractor or, you know, somebody who needs the big truck who can tow a lot. I can find that. Or we've got Ron, he's a retired preacher. He's awesome. He's worked at however many different dealerships. He's been in the industry forever, and he works with people like him. And so they're looking for better gas mileage, or they're starting to get to that point where they need something that they can sit down into rather than climb up into. And GMC makes vehicles like that, and Borjon Auto Center provides salespeople that can find you that vehicle.
Right.
We've got one of
Right
everybody for
personality,
one of
yeah.
every customer. Yeah.
How is the transition from, you know, mostly fuel into electric? How's that been for you guys?
Yeah, it's a hill. I mean, you know, our community, first of all, is going to be more diesel, you know, gas customers. We have bringing the EV Hummer in has been a learning curve for everybody, for my service department and my sales team. But we sell them, you know, so there's obviously people out there who want them. It's hard to say like everybody's like the Borjons who, you know, we all drive diesel or gas vehicles, but it's a learning curve. And California is supposed to be the most ready state, manufacturers say, and we're not quite ready just yet. So we did pretty well with our Hummers. We have had a ton of them in. We've sold all of them, some to out of the area, a handful of them to our area. But it's hard. It's something that's just new, and it's hard as a salesperson to not, you know, these guys are in a selling mode, and their job is to sell cars. But we do pride ourselves on honesty, on letting the customer know what to expect. You know, most people think like, oh, EV, I'm going to save so much money. You still have to pay for your power. So, you know, the Tesla plugins still are going to take a credit card for you to get your car charged up. So thankfully my sales team, for the most part, all of them are educated enough to prep their customer for real life when it comes to EV.
Well, I thought the charging stations were free. Is that not the case?
So you get it with Hummer, you get a charging charger with it. But when you go to like Tesla, when you're charging on the road, you have to still pay for your charge.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
so
know
when
that.
you're
A
home,
charging station versus your house.
right? Even when you're at home, you have to pay for your power, like your PG&E.
Huh.
It's no different than running your washer and dryer for one of the plugins.
Oh, okay.
You still have to pay. But see, that's a perfect example of customers just think like, oh, I'm going to save so much money, it's not buying fuel in real life. You're still buying something. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of education still needed for the EV department. But I'm for it, just not required. I don't want to be required to do it.
Do you find like the younger generation is more prone to buy a EV versus a fuel vehicle, or what do you find on that?
All of
I
ours
think it
so
depends
far-
on the area.
Yeah, all
Really?
of ours have been second or third vehicles. Nobody has like turned in their Yukon or their 3500 for a Hummer. I haven't sold it to anybody. Most of the time, this is like their weekend vehicle, to where they still have their ICE, which is internal combustion engine, which is a gas or diesel. They still have their ICE vehicle sitting in the garage, just as a backup in case for some reason their EV vehicle does not work.
Because you're still going to need a road trip vehicle.
Right.
Right.
You know, you can't take your EV, you know, we go to Idaho a lot. My in-laws live in Idaho, and so we go there and you see them. We go to Montana, and I couldn't take my Hummer. or I couldn't take my Tesla to do that.
Right.
I could, I just don't want to spend the time charging. And so we take our diesel truck. But if I wanted to go, the Hummers are wonderful for off-roading. So if we wanted to go to the dunes or to the mountains or whatever it is, that'd be exactly what I took my Hummer for.
Yeah.
So there's different things. I think the younger generation, my age, depending on the area, I think Teslas are great. You live in San Luis, you live in LA, San Francisco, where you've got a short 10, 15-mile commute every day, go for it. But you live in Paso and you work in San Luis, you work in Margarita or whatever it is, I've got a 35-mile commute every day. And so that's at least 70 miles round trip if I don't go somewhere for lunch or if I don't have errands to run after work. And so I'm gonna have to charge before I go home. And as a female, I don't want to charge after dark or whatever it is. I don't want to have to charge with my toddler in the back seat. So there's conveniences for everybody. But if you're, 18, 20, 22 years old and you've got nothing else, why not stop and charge?
How many times have you put your Hummer into freedom mode to show somebody?
Twice.
That's it?
Twice.
Wow.
Yeah. One for you and one for us.
That's probably the craziest, the shaking it's like you're in a spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose of freedom mode other than that? Is there
it.
Just to go fast.
Just the wow factor.
Just the wow factor.
Yeah.
And it definitely is a wow factor.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary wow.
Yeah.
And how somebody doesn't do that. If I had one of those things, I don't know if you can get too many, freedom mode runs.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if they limit you.
Right.
They probably should.
Yeah, in California, I'm sure it's coming.
You get like one freedom mode every day. That's
Yeah,
it.
right.
Every 24 hours,
Yeah.
you get one freedom mode.
I do it in my Yukon every morning.
Oh my gosh! It's just the electric vehicle is just insane, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm sure somebody's figured out the hacks of those.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they got the hacks for the diesels. Get more, power, more speed, more everything out of it. And I'm sure somebody is doing that. If not already, I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of technology behind it.
Yeah.
And so they're having, like I said, with the kids who like the loud, noisy, dirty, the rolling coal diesel trucks, they're easier to change a couple of years ago. But now the technology in them, it's a little
Yeah.
bit more difficult. And I think that part of that's positive. I think there's benefits to a stock truck.
Yeah, for sure.
And the vehicle pricing has went crazy too, huh?
Yeah, but with that you get bells and whistles that we have to have.
Right.
Back in the day, I remember old ranchers coming in and saying, I'm going to pass on air conditioning on this truck. And you're like, now, air conditioning seats, you have to have air conditioning.
Right.
So, the bells and whistles that we used to take as for granted or take as a plus, now we're taking for granted. Heated and cooled seats. The new Denali Ultimate has massaging seats.
Suede headliner.
Yeah.
Electric
Yeah.
windows.
Right.
Yeah.
It used to be crank, yeah. And some customers, they still squawk because I can't get them crank windows.
Do they still make vehicles with manual
they do,
stuff?
Yeah. It's
Really?
a very, very base unit, but they still will make it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But AC is, I think that's
Standard.
in everything, right?
Yes.
And power steering.
Everything.
Right?
Yes.
And what about manual transmissions? Are those still
No.
a thing? They're not?
No. Yeah, they had a Canyon that had a stick for maybe 6 or 8 months, and then they pulled it.
Just wasn't popular at
Yeah.
all?
Even though I this is a generation thing, as I wouldn't mind that. I do it myself, I wouldn't want to drive it, but I think for a new driver, it'd be good. That keeps their focus on being safe versus, eating or on their phone or fixing their makeup. It keeps their hand on that stick. So.
And it's funny because when you talk about a manual transmission, you talk about, the younger generation, nobody knows how to drive one of those things. And you can
My
tell,
girls
which is good,
Yeah.
which should be,
Yeah.
and I think that, like you said, the manual transmission, holds a, place in a lot of people's hearts.
Yeah.
And then when you're able to drive a manual transmission truck, vehicle, or whatever it is, it's this is fun.
Yeah.
Until you go into LA traffic,
Oh, yeah.
it's not so much, the fun kind of went out the window at that point.
Right.
So, what about other vehicles? You guys do specialty stuff as well, right? Trucks and box trucks and stuff like that. Tell me about that.
Yes, so we do fleet vehicles.
Yep.
We do a lot of cabin chassis, and we use different bed companies like Royal, Monroe, Knapheide. We use some local companies with our flatbeds.
Yeah, C&M, Douglas.
and then we'll do the big box vans. So that's going to be like a Savannah front end and Savannah chassis with a big box in the back. We deliver our parts in it, or sometimes farmers will deliver their fruit and vegetables in it.
Oh, no
like
kidding.
like moving vans.
A lot of wineries use it too.
Yeah.
You guys probably have a lot of like repeat business over the years, huh?
Yes.
Like
generations.
Like just
Yeah.
consistent, loyal customers around here, because you guys have been here forever.
Yeah.
And like I said, we talked about weathering the test of time, and you stayed relevant, and with the local business, with the wineries popping up like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, we got what, 400 wineries
A lot.
just in the North County
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
But you guys also sell out of the area too, right?
Yeah, we do. So, if people move out of the area, so they go out of state. My parents have a friend of theirs that moved out to Idaho, and she's a horse trainer, and so we still deliver cars up there to her every couple of years when she's ready to buy. So, yeah, we have customers all over the place. We really try to focus on our own here, but sometimes our own moves out of the area.
Yeah.
And what do you do to capture like the competition in our area? Because you have what, you have two GM dealers on the Central Coast, right? Not including yourself.
We have there's three. There's three extra besides me.
And so how do you keep ahead of the competition? And I mean, because obviously everybody is very savvy, internet savvy, doing their homework, sometimes buying on the internet, negotiating on the internet.
Yes,
How do you stay relevant to that?
I mean, the benefit of us is the longevity that we've already had, So whenever you hear that there is a Borjon in the dealership daily, that there is, hopefully some kind of security thinking if there's something that went wrong, I can talk to somebody who really cares. And being the last family-owned, family-ran store is a huge feather in our cap as far as why we are still here, why we are important, and why hopefully customers trust us versus going to a big corporate store.
And Jennifer, you manage the whole operation now, right?
I'm the general manager. My dad's still there every day. He's nowhere near retiring, thank goodness. But he's definitely my go-to. But yeah, I work in all departments. Any department that has an issue, that's where I go.
And you still have probably those old clients that only want to deal with your dad.
Of course, yes.
Where they call up and just say, hey, I want to talk to Mark.
Right, yes, every day. I mean, that happens every day. And that's huge. I mean, and there's times where my dad will say, hey, I am not in the house, so, call Jen or call Haylee. And it's good that those customers know that we will treat them like Mark has for the last 31 years. No matter which one of us you talk to, we're still family. So there's some benefits of knowing a cell phone number.
So when a new client reaches, like, I'm sure you probably do some sales over internet, right?
Yeah. It's very, very common now.
What's one of the main questions or sales tactics that you use when somebody's communicating via that you've never met them, never seen them? It's just messaging back and forth.
Yeah, it's I get it because I do it. I do a Walmart pickup order. I would much rather not walk in and shop and do all that kind of stuff. So, and I do think it's mostly younger people, but I've had quite a few of people from my mom's generation or my granddad's generation that do the same thing. And so it's the big part to me is buying a vehicle sight unseen sounds terrifying.
And people do that?
People do it often.
Really? Never driving it, never nothing?
Yeah.
And just buying it?
Yeah. But the big part for me is I put myself out there, my face is on our social media, whatever it is, and I want to meet you. And so we use Microsoft Teams, and I just got myself set up pretty well on that. So we've all got little webcams. So if you're not able to come in or you choose not to come in, whatever it is, I at least want to see you in person, face to face. And if that's you not coming into the store and me not being able to come to you, we do delivery too. So we had a customer in Los Osos a couple of weeks ago. She couldn't make it in. And so I dropped the vehicle off to her because I still want to see you. And I'm not going to send a third-party delivery company go drop the vehicle off. I sold it to you. You're the one that's been talking to me over the phone or texting me or whatever it is. I want to be the one to show up and deliver it to you and show you how to use it, whatever it is. So if you can't make it in store, let's do a Zoom. Let's do a Microsoft Teams meeting and talk to each other and still make it personal. I've got some customers who just won't do that, which is fine. And so we'll text and we'll get, you mail me a check or you wire the money and
Really?
and it works. But
Wow,
my perfect
weird.
customer is, if you want to negotiate online, that's fine. I'll text you and we'll get your numbers and we'll make it work. But I still want to meet you and I want to shake your hand and I want you to drive the truck before you take it home. You know, I want you to make sure that this is your perfect vehicle, or if there's another color on my lot, or if I just got something in that morning, I want you to be able to see that and be like, oh shoot, like I actually like the red instead of the blue, whatever it is. Even though I do the Walmart pickups and I do all the stuff online too, there's some things that you just can't do 100% over the phone.
Is the whole what you pay invoice, is that still a thing to where customers want to pay what you pay?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, customers, what we do is fairly public knowledge. You know, you could pull an invoice now online. The spread that used to be cost, you know, wholesale to retail has shrunk a lot. We're the only store on Central Coast that was not doing MSRP plus. So MSRP plus $10,000, $25,000 back during the COVID days. So I pride myself on being transparent in all departments. And so if a customer, we've got a ton of our vehicles on our lot now that are priced to sell. We just got a lot of the high input, high input trucks, so half tons that were like less than $40,000 for a brand new vehicle, which is literally unheard of on any lot, especially if it's brand new. So, I mean, you know, go back to like how we say relevant is that is we chase what we think is important to our community and where we need to be at all times to be able to make sure we're available to our clientele. That would be these trucks priced to sell. It would be our fleet units that have the Monroe truck body on them ready to start work the next day. It'd be the Tuscany units, you know, that are ready to have some fun, or some Hummers that are charged and ready to rock and roll.
Because you had during that period of time, you couldn't get vehicles.
Right.
I mean, literally, like you said, you had 5 vehicles. You were wondering if you bring in a fleet of used vehicles, which even back that time, I mean, it was top dollar for something that you would have sold for way less, but that was just the demand.
Yep.
And so were those orders already there now? They're just coming in? Is that why? Because you guys are filled.
We
I
are.
mean, to the gills there,
Yes,
right?
Yeah. Our lot's perfect right now. No, so it took, some of our customers waited 2 years for a vehicle. I mean, that seems, that's never, in my, auto industry lifetime, it's never happened like that. Back in the day, my dad says it was like that. But we're finally caught up on orders. Our customers have all pretty much got exactly what they wanted. And now we have vehicles on the lot ready to sell day of, which is nice. I mean, COVID, we did not have that. We were struggling for sure.
So nowadays, it used to be like 4 or 5 years. Now loans are going out 10. And so do they have those warranties now that you guys service the vehicles, 3, 5, 10 years? Is that a thing now?
It is, yes. So right now, the longest term that we've seen is 84 months, which seems like almost a house payment, a house loan, a mortgage loan. So we sell a GMC protection plan. That's a warranty that we sell. Guaranteed GM parts and GM technicians at a GM certified store, and it can be repaired at any GM dealership in the nation. So that's what we choose to sell. We don't sell aftermarket ones. A lot of stores do because the profit margin's larger. But because we sell to repeat customers, I don't want to ever hear, my warranty wasn't worth it, or you guys didn't cover whatever it was that we said it would cover. So it's important for Borjon Auto Center to sell GM.
Things that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, with GM, GMC, Borjon, I mean, the name stands behind it, and I think, like I said, we talked about that before, where we're a truck area, we're truck country. And so how do you combat like the tire kickers that come in and they want a car? So do you transition them into like a small SUV type vehicle?
Yeah.
Or
we're lucky enough to have a pretty good lineup right now. We've got the Terrain, which is it's a older, early, like a smaller crossover, but they've redone it a couple of times where it's a beautiful car. It's got some great safety features, and its budget's there. It's like in the mid 30s, low 30s. So, the idea of a mom like me trying to get her daughter a college car, I don't have the $50,000 to spend for a new car, but I can put her in something really nice for that low 30 budget. It has all the safety features. Then you've got the Acadia, which is next in line. It's got a third row seat, a little bit larger. And then you have the Yukon XL. So sedans, not so much, but sedan really isn't a huge seller especially for our community.
For the area,
Anyways, yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned, coming in and selling, because our generation, our area, our the people that are moving here and living here, there's a lot of money that's coming in here, right? Everybody's leaving Silicon Valley. They're congregating and coming to the Central Coast, right? And so I would imagine when these parents are coming in, maybe grandparents, and buying their, new 16-year-old driver a brand new, diesel $125,000, $150,000 vehicle, that's kind of crazy, huh? How does that experience when they're coming in and buying these vehicles for these young drivers?
Yeah, it happens, right? So and this is the generation part, and it's for the most part, we have a lot of respectful families. And so they come in, they may buy, we had one that came in and bought their son a new 3/4 ton, and he's a good kid. And so if the family has the means to do it, why not do it? Not everybody should have an '06 Corolla for their first car. That's not the way it has to work. So who are we to judge?
Right.
I didn't have a brand new car. She didn't have a brand new car. But it is what it is, and I'm nobody to judge. I'm thankful that they trusted me for their son's first purchase, and their son was a part of it. He knew the price, he knew how sales tax worked. It's a good educational tool for that family to start him at that young of an age to know how buying a car looks like.
How does this aftermath work for sales at Borjon? So is there any type of tactics that you guys stay in touch to where it's just not all right, see you later? Is there any type of what do you do to stay in contact or kind of stay present in their minds?
Yeah, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, that's it's huge, because that's, especially when you have a good relationship with your customer, whether or not you go to dinner afterwards or whatever, you can still have a good relationship on the lot. And I become friends with the customers very quick. I'm a friendly person. And so it's really easy for me to, I've already got their phone number. And so we've got little postcards. And so I send out a little postcard the day they buy. And so it gets to them the next day or 2 days later, whatever it is. And it's just a quick little, thank you so much for your purchase, for trusting me, whatever it is. And I send that out. Everyone's different. And then there's emails that we send out. And then, that's a week after your purchase. You get an email. Thank you so much. You get a hand-signed letter from Mr. Borjon himself. Thank you so much for purchasing at our dealership. And so then you get follow-ups. So every 6 months or once a year, we'll send you, a happy 3-year anniversary of your, 2021 GMC Sierra. Thank you so much for your purchase. If you've got any fans or friends or family looking for vehicles, please use us as a referral. Or if it's time for you to start looking for a new truck, please call us. Again, I'm Haylee Wescom. I'm still here. And so
There's plenty of times too where these sales guys will jump into a car and drive a customer home. Customer comes in for an oil change on their first oil change, which is complimentary. Then these guys will jump into a car, run their customer back to their house and drop them off while they're getting their oil change. So our dealership is small enough to where when she walks in to get her coffee, she still sees her customers there in the lobby. Same with Colton. He goes back to his coffee and he sees his customers there to where we all say hi. There's always somebody in the
I've seen kids grow up. I've seen people get married. I've seen somebody, it's my favorite family ever, local. And they were one of my COVID cars. And they ordered right after I started, middle of COVID, it was a hot mess. And they waited 2 years for their car to get here. And it just got married. She ended up getting pregnant. I got to see her belly grow. It was so sweet. My daughter was super little at the time. And then I got to see, they came in a week after they had the baby. So I got to see the baby. Yeah. And then when they came in and bought the car, it was a couple of months before the baby's first birthday. And we, in that time we became friends. And so then, a few weeks ago was the baby's first birthday. So I got to see that. And it was I've seen this family grow, and I've helped them. We try to help them find a babysitter or whatever it is. But, we text often. I check in on them and their car and how their family likes it. And does it work for the older kids who are doing sports? And does it work for a road trip and all that kind of stuff? And to have that relationship, you're not going to have that with every customer. But with the majority of the customers, you will. And to be able to have that and to keep that, they're going to send their sister or their uncle or their mom or their dad. I've had another family from the Valley. where one of the older brother bought a car for me. It was an order, bought a car for me. It was a Denali Ultimate, one of the first ones that we had on the lot, Denali Ultimate 2500. It was gorgeous. Everybody fell in love with it. All the salespeople were like, oh my gosh, it's the first one. It's beautiful, whatever. Then he sent his little brother. And then he sent his dad. And him and his little brother and his dad all ordered the same truck, just different colors. And so to have the repeat customers is wonderful, and that's part of keeping up with him, because I texted him 30 days after he bought, and I said, how are you loving your truck? Have you guys done anything in it? You got the snow in it, it has massaging seats. And he's like, it's great. I let my brother drive it last week and he wants one. Here's his number. And so there's benefits to following up.
And I really think that's a lost method of sales these days.
100%.
To where you stay in contact. It's not just that one-time sale. It's the longevity of it. And it's like you said, the constant, staying in contact, the birthdays, the, handwritten, thank yous. And I think nowadays, because that lost art in sales, I mean, we've all experienced with other, things that we've purchased, to where it's like, you don't feel like a sale, like that person really cared about you. That person even knows who you are.
Right.
But the aftermath, the staying in contact, and that helps to bring those people back and the referrals back. And obviously we all live on referrals, and that's probably the best form of advertising that you could possibly do.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and that's when you've got a veteran that works with you. We've had, throughout the years, I grew up at the dealership, obviously, with my mom and granddad working there for as long as they have. I was, 7, 8 years old, walking through the hallways, doing whatever. And so I've known a lot of the salespeople that we've had. And we've had salespeople that have been in the industry for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and they live off referrals and repeat customers. Very rarely do you see somebody who's been in the industry for 30 years take a fresh up, because they've got their people that they have come in. You're guaranteed this guy's going to come buy a car, brand new car, every 2 years, and he's due for one this May, so I've got at least him. And whatever it is, this company needs new cars this year, so they're going to buy 15 cars in June. And so that's where, when I first started, that's where I get all my clientele, because all those veterans are taking their repeats and their referral customers, and I get all their fresh ups. They wouldn't be taking all the people that are walking on the lot, all the phone calls, whatever it is. And so now that helps me build my clientele. So I'm still taking fresh ups. I've only been there for 3.5 years, but I'm like 20% repeat customers and referrals. Still 80% phone calls, stuff like that. But I've got my repeat customers. I've built my clientele. I've built the relationships with companies, some big companies and some just families.
Haylee, did you think this was what you were going to be doing when you were going through high school? And I mean, was this what you had your focus on?
Not even a little bit. No. So I wanted to be a bovine veterinarian. I applied to, I think, 7 or 8 different out-of-state schools, and I got into all of them to go into vet med. And I decided to stay home. I ended up having my daughter, and so she'll be turning 3 in July, and I just turned 22, so I had her young right out of high school, and she changed my world. And so it changed my mind, and I was like, she made me really change my family mindset too, because I was like, every 17, 18-year-old kid, like, get out of Dodge, go somewhere else, and then I was
party,
like,
have a great time,
whatever it is. Been in Paso Robles my whole life, and she changed my mind. It made me appreciate my small town and where I come from and my family. And so I was like, I can't move. I could totally still go to college, but I couldn't go out of state. My mom was a huge, obviously having a baby's a big deal, and so my mom was a huge part of it. My grandma, my grandpa, my dad, my aunt, everybody was a huge part of it. And so it turned into, I could still leave and take her with me, or I could stay here and be a part of something bigger and introduce her to what a family really is, an unconditional family really is. And it's huge.
And Jennifer, you sent over some pictures yesterday, of that, and I think that says a lot about the Borjon family and like you said, the family traditions, the family unity, and what I noticed was everybody was there, as pictures, as like your family becomes your friends, and it's almost you prefer hanging out with them versus sometimes your friends, and I noticed that in those pictures, the lake pictures, the house pictures, just it just shows family unity and the strong bond which makes what Borjon Auto Center is.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important.
Yeah.
And, of course, the grandkids and,
she's
so
perfect, yeah.
I hear a fourth generation coming through. Is
Right.
that going to
Yeah.
be, you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. Obviously, she can pick and choose what she does as she gets older, but it was never forced on me, but look where I ended up.
Yeah.
Everybody's got the choice, but I think when you've got that family mindset and you see where it's gone so far and you see where it could go in the future, you're like, I could be a part of that, and I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, and something you don't have to start from the very beginning, right? So Pop
Yeah,
had to start from
starting
like
fresh.
scratch. He started from like nothing going. I'm lucky enough to already have the trail somewhat ridden, to where it's been the weeds have been spread, and then when Haylee's even more, her trail is even wider than that, and then with Kin's, it would even be wider than that. So
Yeah.
Instead of it looking like I would never want to be in somebody's shadow, he's already blazed it for me. So he's made it a little bit easier, setting me up for success.
Has Mark completely released the reins to you?
No,
does
he will never. He will never. No, he's going to. He's never going to retire. He's there forever. And I can buck the system and throw a fit. It won't get me very far. Or I can remind myself that he's a benefit. He is something that nobody else has, right? I have a smart person that's pro Jennifer, that's pro Borjon, that will always be my back pocket to help me with those situations that I don't know. I don't have to tread alone. I can call him as a 911.
That's
and
awesome.
sometimes we bicker, right? Sometimes new way versus old way, no different than her and I. But at the end of the day, he's the Mark Borjon of Borjon Auto Center. So
Absolutely.
he's the final say.
And how does Generation 3 and Generation 1,
We're best friends.
How does that work? I mean
I'm the
old
first
versus new?
granddaughter. I'm the first daughter. I mean, him and I are like
Right.
two peas in a pod.
Their conversations are different.
Yeah.
She doesn't get the heat that I will get from him.
Yeah.
And she's a grandbaby, right? So they
Right.
really can't do wrong. So that's my job to get after her.
You're the mediator.
I'm the mediator.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she's the middleman for sure for everything.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Good and bad.
So Jennifer, where does Borjon Auto Center go from here? What's the future look like for Borjon?
Yeah. I think, the same foundation. The same, we still have, the handshake that I never want to change. That's something that is not in our future at all, as far as changing our mindset on customer service, and to ever teach the next generation entitlement, or that, this business is a guarantee, because it's not. So I don't see, I see good changes. I don't see very many changes.
Are you guys pretty set on your brands that you carry at the dealership now? And
Yeah, we're very open to other brands. We're definitely not closed-minded when it comes to building his empire.
because now you guys are offering bikes.
We are.
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's really
Yeah.
awesome. I'd love to come and test drive one of those.
Yeah.
Do you guys do test drive on those?
We don't. We actually sold out of them. We
Oh.
don't
Yeah.
have any more left. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as, because you're not necessarily locked in to like other brands like GM, do they control who you bring in?
They do not. No.
They don't?
No.
You guys are your own, whatever you want to do.
Yes. Obviously, we'd have to build a dealership or something
Add
else for the
on, yeah.
new brand. But yeah, we had the King City store. It burnt to the ground. But from there, we had
Oh, that's right.
yeah Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, Jeep.
We were everything.
Yeah, and Mark being a minority, me being a female, we are a good asset for other manufacturers. You know, manufacturers look at those things as being a little bit of a chase, which is good. So we've had offers, but luckily again for the old guy next door, that he reminds me of, does it have the value that GM has? Does it, carry the same kind of fluff that GM has as far as reliability? Is it a good move for the family? Everything is, bottom line, it's about the family.
And what does rates looks like right now and versus here in the next 6 months?
Oh gosh, I think we keep being told that they're going to drop, but who knows? I mean, right now we're at 7.5% is probably my average.
There's subvented rates on everything, incentivized stuff.
So GM has a captive bank called GM Financial, and GM will buy down the rate for right now, we've got those high input engines that are like a 2.9 for 72 months, I think is what they are.
Or 1.9 for 36.
Yeah.
Some of our Acadias are 0.9 for 36 months.
Which is unheard of in this current market. Like this current market rates are insane. So 2.9 is a very low rate compared to the average. But
For a 6-year term.
yeah, I mean, the manufacturer is listening whenever we go and we squawk on. I'm on a couple of different boards for General Motors, and we need some assistance on the front line, and for that they hurt us. So we do have some incentivized rates on a lot of our vehicles.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And what do you like to do outside of the dealership, Jennifer? What's your fun hobbies?
Yeah, family. I mean, we
Yeah.
really don't do anything without each other. We travel together, we have weekends together, but yeah, I mean, my mama has definitely put those roots down for me as far as who you have in your circle. Our circles are very small, and it's mostly each other. But yeah, I spend time, I normally don't leave. We live in Creston, and so I stay on my little piece of heaven and decompress out there.
And we live in that area that, it's hard to leave for a long period of time, and you appreciate it when you're gone
Yeah.
of just what we have here.
Yeah, the other California, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other
My
California.
perfect place.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys coming in. We appreciate you guys, being a sponsor of, What's Up North County. And we really, really enjoy the value that you guys bring to our community.
Thank you.
With family, family first, which I dig. And I think that's why, Borjon has stood the test of time because of that value that your dad started and
Yes.
continues generation 2, generation 3, and
Yeah.
possibly generation
Maybe
4.
4.
Right.
So awesome. Well, thanks for coming
Thank
in.
you so
Appreciate
much.
hearing
We
the story,
appreciate it.
and hopefully we can get out to the dealership and do some test drives.
Yes, we
Yeah.
love that.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, make sure if you have not been to Borjon Auto Center, they're out Highway 46, the big dealership right on the right-hand side, and check out their lot. They've got a lot of cool stuff, trucks, SUVs, Hummers. They've got the whole 9 yards, and they have an award-winning service department as well. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wines, Wine Travelers Hideaway, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, Santo Brothers Plumbing, Pacific 805 Spas, Hanson Enterprises, Story Termite Pest Control, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and of course, Borjon Auto Center. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Hi, welcome to Kennedy Club Fitness, where we have something for everyone. We have weights, cardio, group exercise classes, racquetball, basketball, swimming, and pickleball coming soon. Here at Kennedy, we're committed to health, wellness, and community. Stop by any of our 4 locations, Paso Robles, Atascadero, San Luis Obispo, and Arroyo Grande, or check out our website at kennedyclubs.com.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
What's up, North County? Nate Santos here, owner of Santos Bros Plumbing. You might recognize me with my dancing horses at local events such as the Atascadero Tamale Festival, Templeton 4th of July, and Paso Pioneer Day. I am now available for all your home plumbing service and repair needs, from minor drips and drops to emergency leaks and clogs. For the best plumbing service, call Santos Bros Plumbing, pipe wranglers to the rescue.